Would you like to be a disciple maker? But how? Well, Jesus modeled the process by starting with a simple question. Jesus said, "Come and see." Good morning and welcome to 755 Live. For about 5 minutes, you'll hear all about easy to remember soundbite versions of what Jesus said. And the point is to help you experience life to the fullest the Jesus way. Today's Jesus Said comes from John 1:39, and we're going to skip up a couple of verses to get some context. John the Baptist had just called Jesus the Lamb of God, and so that's where we will pick this up in John 1, verse 37. When John's two disciples heard this, they followed Jesus. Jesus looked around and saw them following. "What do you want?" he asked them. They replied, "Rabbi," which means teacher, "where are you staying?" "Come and see," he said. It was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon when they went with him to the place where he was staying, and they remained with him the rest of the day. So this is kind of what I like to call disciple making 101. Jesus saying, "Come and see." Now in John 1, this phrase, "come and see," occurs twice, what we just read. And this was when two curious disciples of John the Baptist asked Jesus where he was staying. And Jesus said, "Come and see," in verse 39. And then after spending the day with him, Andrew found his brother, Simon Peter, and brought him to Jesus. And then later, Philip told Nathanael that he had found the Messiah. And then Nathanael was kind of skeptical. And so to his skeptical reply, Philip didn't argue with him. He just said, "Come and see." So let's look at that in John 1:40 and 42. So Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, was one of these men who heard what John said and then followed Jesus. Andrew went to find his brother Simon and told him, "We have found the Messiah," which means Christ. Then Andrew brought Simon to meet Jesus. Looking intently at Simon, Jesus said, "Your name is Simon, son of John, but you will be called Cephas," which means Peter. Now, we don't hear a lot about Andrew. He had been John's disciple and then became a disciple of Jesus. With a simple "come and see," he simply followed Jesus, leaving the past behind. And then he hung out with Jesus for a day. And then immediately became a disciple maker, doing what Jesus did. Now, just by saying, "Come and see." Now, imagine without Andrew responding to that "come and see," and then inviting his brother that same day, then we never would have known Simon Peter. And it's really important to understand about this process that disciple making is not about begging. You don't have to beg people. You don't have to convince anyone. You don't have to argue with anyone. We are designed to follow Jesus and do what he said. And he told us to love God, love people, and make disciples. One of our core values at Today Church is people. Everything is an outreach. Everyone has a place. And in Matthew 13, Jesus tells the story of communicating the gospel in parables and the different obstacles that are there. We don't have time to get into all of those, but all of the obstacles begin with misunderstanding. But it's not our job to force anyone to understand. Jesus said that he didn't do anything but what he saw the Father doing. Let's read John 6:44 and 45. Jesus said, "No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, and I will raise him up at the last day. It is written in the prophets, and they will all be taught by God. Everyone who hears and learns from the Father comes to me." You see, it's not our job to try to convince someone, to try to argue with someone. The Father is already drawing them. And our job is to follow the example that Jesus gave us to simply invite. Jesus said, come and see. How can you put that into action today? Thank you so much for listening. If this is meaningful to you, it does mean a lot when you like it, when you share it, when you comment. I really appreciate you. I hope that you have an amazing day, and I hope this time together has helped you live life to the fullest the Jesus way. And remember, follow Jesus today. Love first.